You want the real story? Fine. I'll tell you. But let's get one thing straight. I'm not here to entertain you like my brother. This isn't some charming, fourth-wall-breaking comedy where I smirk at the camera and life magically works out in my favor. No. This is a story of how my entire life got flipped upside down, all because of Ferris, David, whatever you want to call him. Back in Seattle, my name wasn't Jeanie Bueller. It was Emily Lightman. And I had a normal life. I had friends, a school I liked, and for the most part, my parents actually paid attention to me. But then he happened. My brother, David Lightman, the same David Lightman who nearly caused World War III by hacking into a government computer, thinking he was playing some dumb game. Yeah, you heard that right. My idiot brother almost nuked the planet over a stupid prank. And guess who had to suffer for it? Me. So, after David, I mean Ferris. Save the world. Or whatever, the government decided our family was a national security risk. Next thing I know, we're packing up and moving across the country, getting new identities, and pretending like none of it ever happened. Suddenly, my dad, who worked in aerospace, was shuffled into some boring office job. My mom, who actually had a decent social life, became obsessed with keeping up the perfect suburban image. And me, I lost everything. No one asked me if I wanted to be Jeanie Bueller. No one asked me if I was okay with being shoved into a new school, in a new state, with no friends and no explanation. They just did it. And all because of David, Ferris. And you know what the worst part was? He loved it. He saw the whole thing as some grand opportunity. David Lightman, the awkward computer geek who skipped gym class to sit in the computer lab, reinvented himself overnight as Ferris Bueller, the smooth-talking, untouchable high school legend. And I had to sit there and watch it happen. From day one at Shermer High, Ferris played the system like a game. He charmed the teachers, the students, hell, probably even the janitors. Everyone loved him. Meanwhile, I was stuck as his annoying little sister, the only person who actually saw through his BS. It didn't matter what he did, cut class, manipulate our parents, run circles around the school staff, he always got away with it. And me? The second I stepped out of line, I was the problem. The rebellious daughter. The one with the attitude. The one who needed to lighten up. But why should I? Why should I have to smile and pretend everything was fine when he got to do whatever he wanted? And then there was Sloane. Oh, poor, sweet, naive Sloane Peterson. Ferris had her wrapped around his finger just like everyone else. She thought he was this amazing, romantic rebel. And I tried to warn her, but did she listen? Of course not. Then Ferris's day off happened. You know the story. He fakes sick, skips school, drags Cameron and Sloane into his stupid little parade. And what happens at the end? Ferris gets away with it. Again. But Sloane? She's the one who gets caught. Principal Rooney finally thought he had Ferris, but nope, he settles for Sloane instead. And since she was already on Rooney's bad side, he threw the entire book at her. Expelled from graduation. Forced to repeat her senior year. And where was Ferris when that happened? Was he pleading her case? Taking responsibility? Nope. He was out celebrating. So yeah, Sloane dumped his ass. And for once, I actually respected her. After Rooney quit, I ran into him as he was packing up his office. I asked him about Ferris, told him about MIT. And you know what? He actually listened to me. For once, someone saw Ferris the way I did. He told me he was looking for a new job, and I suggested MIT, where Ferris would be attending that fall. I don't know what he did with that information, but I like to think I planted a little seed. After that, Sloane and I started talking more. She was pissed at Ferris. I was always pissed at Ferris. So we bonded. Then one day in the lunchroom, Allison Reynolds overhears us. She sits down and tells us her own Ferris story. Except back when she knew him, he wasn't Ferris. He was David. That's when it all clicked. He'd always been like this. And then Claire joined us because she and Allison had been close since detention. And just like that, the four of us became friends. We had one last summer of freedom, lazing around, eating junk food, not worrying about anything. It was supposed to be our victory lap before senior year. Then Jesse Wilson showed up. First day of school, we're all herded into the football stadium. Nobody knows why. Then boom. Jessie Wilson is introduced as the new principal. And she's not just the principal, she's also the head of the brand new Shermer High Fitness Center. And just when I thought it couldn't get worse, Mandatory daily gym class for all 4 years. No exemptions. No excuses. Oh, and since the seniors skipped gym last year, we all retroactively failed it, which meant double gym. 3 hours a day. And us. The 4 of us who spent the whole summer eating and doing nothing. We were not ready. Look, I don't like Ferris. But if I had to choose between dealing with him and dealing with Jesse Wilson, I'd pick Ferris in a heartbeat. Jesse ran the school like a military boot camp. No mercy, no breaks, no breathing. If you slacked off, you paid for it later. And guess what? We weren't keeping up, which meant Saturday senior sweatshop for extra hours of torture every weekend. By winter, though, something changed. We weren't just surviving. We were getting stronger. By the time spring rolled around, we weren't just keeping up. We were leading. We graduated ripped. We had muscle definition. We went from out-of-breath slobs to athletes. And where did we go? Penn State, where we became fitness instructors in the ASAC program, the same kind of program Jesse Wilson ran. And Ferris, who got kicked out of MIT by Rooney, had no choice but to go to Penn State. So now, we get to run his workouts. For once in his life, Ferris Bueller can't get out of gym class.